I'm Bob Songer, running for Klickitat County Sheriff on the Republican ticket. I'd like to give you a little background on myself, and I was born in 1945 in Grand Island, Nebraska, raised as a child in North Platte, Nebraska. We moved out to the state of Washington in 1956, and in the Camas area, in Washougal area of the state of Washington. I attended high school there and ultimately dropped out of high school and joined the United States Air Force at age 17. I was in the Air Force from 1962 to 1966, and I was a clerk while I was in the Air Force, and I obtained my GED while I was in the service. I was honorably discharged, welded for a couple of years as a certified welder. Eventually, in 1969, I joined the Washougal Police Reserves because I had an interest in law enforcement. And I served as a reserve for approximately 1 year, at which time I was hired by the Clark County Sheriff's Office on July 1st, 1970. And I served as a deputy sheriff. Later, I was promoted into detective, where I worked major person crimes, robberies, rapes, homicides, and a lot of property crimes. Then I was promoted to sergeant. I worked on the road as a patrol sergeant and later transferred into sergeant over narcotic and vice unit. And then I was promoted into management as a chief civil deputy, sheriff, sales, foreclosures, and so forth. And then from there I was promoted to chief criminal deputy over the operations of the department and the narcotic drug task force in the homicide unit. Also conducted and was over the internal affairs unit. Then I was promoted to undersheriff for the last 6.5 years of my 20.5 with the sheriff's office in Clark County, Vancouver, Washington. I was the undersheriff. And in that position I was responsible to the sheriff for 281 employees, $14 million budget, and a 350-bed jail facility. I ran for sheriff in 1990. And my dad, I ran as a Democrat at that time. And I lost that race. And I left there and went to work for the Washington State Gambling Commission. And I was with the Gambling Commission about 9 months. Great organization, but didn't pay a lot. I put out resumes throughout the country and was hired as a police chief in Elko, Nevada. It's a population of 18,000, 52 employees, a $3.2 million budget, and I was police chief there from 91 to 95. I left on good terms. The police chief served at the pleasure of the mayor. My mayor didn't get reelected, so they had a new mayor and a new police chief. But I left on good terms because they hired me as a consultant to bring the new chief on board. Wonderful people in the city of Elko, Nevada, in the county of Elko. Anyway, I moved back to Washington State. My wife at that time, Jerry, and I moved back to Washington State and Vancouver area, and I started a PI business. And about 9 months into the private investigation business, I got a call from my former city manager out of Elko and requested that Judge Ames, Jack Ames of the 4th Judicial District Court in Elko County, wanted me to come to work for him as an armed bailiff. And so I did. Jerry and I moved back to Elko, Nevada, and I worked for Judge Ames for 19 months, and I'd been there probably a little longer than that, but he was getting ready to retire and move to Hawaii, so I decided I'd retire. And at that point, I left Elko, Nevada. We wanted to move back to the state of Washington, and we got accustomed to a drier climate, so we ended up in Goldendale, Washington, Klickitat County. And we bought a home here in Goldendale. And about the second month into my retirement, I just got bored out of my mind. I wanted to get back into the law enforcement business. And I joined the reserves for the Klickitat County Sheriff's Office. And I put on a reserve academy for them. After I was a reserve for, I think, 1 year there, 1 or 2 years. I think it was in 2001 or 2002 I put on the academy. And but at that same time, I had the opportunity to go to work in 2000 for the as a range timber deputy for Klickitat County Sheriff's Office. And I took that, and I was a reserve for a while until 2001 or 2002, in that area, when my wife, Jerry at the time, come down with cancer, terminal cancer. So I no longer did the reserve, but I continued doing the range timber deputy patrol because I wanted to spend more time at home, even though I don't donate a lot of hours doing the range timber patrol. But I did one less responsibility, was doing the reserve program. So anyway, I lost Jerry in 2005 to cancer, and after 5 years, I met a wonderful woman, a beautiful lady, Frances Finn, and we got married, and so I was very fortunate in that respect. I got a fine lady there. And anyway, I continued the range timber patrol until January 10th, 2014, this year. They terminated the contract, so myself and my partner, Harold Cole, no longer do the range timber patrol work. Unemployed at this time, even though I do draw my left one retirement. That's pretty much of a thumbnail sketch. My management experience, like I say, is Chief Civil, Chief Criminal, Undersheriff in Clark County, Vancouver, Washington, and Police Chief in Elko, Nevada. So I'm running for sheriff because I've had people come to me and ask me to run, and because I know the conditions of that department down there, the morale problems and the shortage of manpower. I believe with my experience and education and background, and I might add, I may have not mentioned my education is, I have a 2-year degree in Associate's Applied Science degree in Administration of Justice, Bachelor's in Administration of Justice, and a Master's degree in Criminal Justice. And the Bachelor's and the Master's degree was out of the University of Portland, and my Associate's degree was with the Clark Community College in Vancouver, Washington. I'm a graduate of the FBI National Academy in 1983, and I also have the Basic Law Enforcement Academy for the state of Washington, and a certificate of Basic Law Enforcement Academy for the state of Nevada. That gives you kind of an overview of my background as far as education and experience and where I've been over the last number of years. So I'm proud to say I've had a total of over 40 years, a little over 40 years of law enforcement work, and enjoyed serving the public. And I look forward to being elected sheriff in this county. I believe I bring the qualifications to you as a voter to consider, and I believe that I have those qualifications to be your sheriff. And hoping to get your vote, asking for your vote in the August 5th primary and the November 4th general election. Thank you.